how to onboard privileged accounts, and we have seen some of the Windows privileged accounts we have onboarded successfully, and we have mapped those privileged accounts to some of the Intel team members, and they access this CyberArk product and they can able to connect to their privileged accounts to their respective servers. So today we will look at the Unix devices. First, let's start with creating a Unix machine, and then we will create some privileged accounts on that Linux server, and then we'll try to onboard those Unix servers and we'll launch PSM sessions. So let me share my screen. So first, let's start creating a virtual server for Unix. Can you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So we have not created a virtual server for Linux. So let's start with creating a virtual server for Linux. So in our first session, I showed you how to create these virtual machines. That is for Windows operating system. So now let's create a Unix machine. That is, I'm going to use RHEL. So create a new virtual server, typical mode. So here ISO image, instead of Windows server, we need to create a Linux machine. Okay.
Oh, hello.
I am sure.
Hi. Since I actually logged in through my laptops and I want to connect this meeting, but I cannot. I don't know why. I actually am logging through my phone right now, and I wanted to connect through my laptop, and I have sent you that notify that host or something, but yeah, actually I'm waiting. So can you able to accept me there so that I can join through my laptop?
Okay, let me check. I am not getting any request from you, Anushree, for accepting.
Um, it says that we have let the host know you are here. That's the window like coming up. I think I
Host is Nirnay, right? In the screen, we can see the host is a Nirnay.
Yes, yes. So Nirnaya is the host here.
Yeah, there is
So
no
Nirnaya,
option to.
are you getting any request
No,
from Anushree?
DC Apricos was the host previously, I guess. So I joined it first, so host changed it to me. If possible, honestly, you can again send the request.
okay. I'll try to send the request, but yeah, no worries. You can continue the uh, the meeting though. That's fine. Thanks.
Thank you. Right. So here the disk image, ISO image, I have selected RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7 version I am using. So this file I have not shared with you guys. This ISO file I have not shared with you previously. So if you want, I can share it with you guys, or else you can directly download from Google. You need to search with RHEL ISO image file, and the image file will get downloaded. It will be like around 4 GB file. It's up to, if you want, I can able to share this ISO image to the team, and they can able to share with you, or else you can directly download from the Google. So click on next. So full name, let us say Linux. Username, you can give any username. Password, set a password. Virtual machine name and location where we want to create this virtual machine. So in our lab, we have already created one folder previously, Linux target server. I'm going to allocate 20 GB. RAM size, I'll make it to 1 GB. Click on finish. Again, we don't bother about creating these servers. Okay, these servers are customer servers, end user servers. So they will be responsible of building all these servers. They will only share the privileged account details with us. Okay, what are the privileged accounts that they want to secure with CyberArk? They will give that privileged account username along with the password for the first time. So then we will onboard their accounts into CyberArk, and we will grant them access at safe level so that they can able to log in from our CyberArk.
So, Vishnu, is there a process that we can onboard them in bulk, or we should need to do one by one?
Yes, next topic we are coming to that. We
Oh,
have automation scripts here.
uh-huh.
We call it as Packly scripts or REST API scripts. We can use any of the scripts and we can onboard these accounts in bulk.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So this will take around 5 minutes to create this server. It will install all the RPM files on this machine and the server will be up. In meanwhile, let's discuss some of the questions, interview questions. We have to note down. Can someone tell me what is the last question that we discussed? Which topic is it? CPM or PSM? Any one of you, can you give me the last question? What you have noted down?
I think which user is responsible for managing password?
Okay, so
That's
we
for the
discussed about
CPM.
CPM. Yes. So please note down the next question. What is PSM? Please note down quickly. What is PSM? Privilege Session Manager. What is PSM? What is PSM means you have to answer what is the functionality of what is the workflow of PSM. Okay, Privilege Session Manager is a component in CyberArk which is responsible for session isolation and monitoring. So this component will help customers to record all the activities that are happening on the privileged accounts. So instead of direct RTP connections using PSM component in CyberArk, the sessions will be launched from our PSM server to the endpoints. Means PSM server acts as a jump server, which is isolating the sessions. So instead of direct RTP connections, the sessions will go from our CyberArk PSM server to the endpoint so that the sessions are secured. Next question. what are the system requirements? What are the system requirements for installing PSM? What are the system requirements for installing PSM? What are the system requirements means we need to follow the CyberArk documentation. So CyberArk says based on the scale of implementation. So for PSM, it is not depend on the number of privileged accounts that we are managing. I repeat again, for PSM deployment, it is not depend on the number of privileged accounts that we are managing. It depends upon the number of concurrent sessions. It depends upon the number of concurrent sessions that we are launching. For example, if it is 1 to 50 concurrent sessions, we call it as small scale. 50 to 100, we call it as a mid scale. Above 100 concurrent sessions, we call it as a large scale implementation. But whereas for Vault, CPM and PVWAs, it depends upon the number of privileged accounts, passwords that we are managing. That is 1 to 1000 privileged accounts, small scale, 1000 to 20,000 mid scale, 20,000 to 1 lakh large scale. About 1 lakh privileged accounts, we call it as a very large scale. So that is depends upon the number of privileged accounts, passwords that we are managing. But for PSM deployment, it is dependent on the number of concurrent sessions. You can get this from the CyberArk documents. What are the requirements? Hardware requirements. Okay. What is the size that we need to allocate on the PSM server? What is the RAM size that we have to specify? How many CPU cores that we need to allocate, etc. These are the hardware requirements. We need to follow the CyberArk
Krishna, I got a
specification.
follow-up question on that. So when you say concurrent users, can you please explain a little
Concurrent
bit more?
sessions. So
Sessions.
concurrent sessions. So PSM will launch sessions. PSM is a privileged session manager. So in order to launch sessions, for example, there are 10 users. Okay. Let us assume there are 10 Wintel team members. So these 10 members at a time, they are connecting to their servers with their privileged accounts from our CyberArk. So in order to launch those sessions concurrently in the sense at a time, these 10 users are connecting to their privileged accounts, whatever the privileged account that they are having access to. So in the back end, this PSM server is going to launch sessions for them. Okay, the sessions will go from our PSM. So in order to launch all these 10 sessions at a time, okay, we need to have RDS CAL licenses, remote desktop CAL licenses that should be configured on our PSM server. If we don't have that RDS CAL licenses on the PSM, these concurrent sessions will not be happen. Means the users don't have enough RTS CAL licenses per user or per device, and the concurrent sessions will not be launched. So it is based on the number of concurrent sessions that particular organization want to use our CyberArk PSM sessions. Okay, so based on those concurrent sessions at a time, let us say 50 concurrent sessions, means 50 users want to access CyberArk and connect through PSM sessions. Then based on that 50 sessions, we need to go with the specific hardware requirements for deploying the PSM. Are you clear?
Little bit still follow up on that. So, you know, assuming that 1 to 15,000 or 20,000 privileged account is a small implementation, correct? I'm talking about CyberArk now, right? Overall. So 1 to 15,000 is a small level,
No,
15
1
to
to 1000. 1 to 1000 is a small scale. 1 to 1000.
okay.
1000 to 20,000 and
So
20,000 to 1 lakh and
1
above
lakh
1.
is like right. So what I'm not able to kind of grasp here is within 1,000 accounts, how come only 0 to 5 accounts is going to be concurrent in any given environment? You know, if you have even 50% users, 50% machines, wouldn't the numbers of the concurrent users be normally more? That's what I'm not able to connect.
So
Because if you
let
have
us
1,000, I would expect, you know, like even half of them being concurrent or like, you know, couple of hundred being concurrent. rather than just 5 of the accounts being concurrent, right?
So let us say there are 1,000 privileged accounts. That's a small
Right,
scale project.
right.
1,000 privileged accounts. And these 1,000 privileged accounts are being used by not 1,000 privileged users. It may be just a 50 users who are having access to these 1,000 privileged accounts within the organization. It's not like the account and the user ratio should be same. A one user may have multiple access to the different privileged accounts within the organization. So
Got
this
it.
user can have access to multiple servers with their privileged accounts. In order to launch those sessions, okay, we need to have PSMs.
So user to privilege account is one-to-many relation.
Yes.
Got it.
It is
Thank
in
you.
my first session. I have shown you from the PDF document. It is 3x ratio. Typically 3x ratio. An user may have access to more than 3 privileged accounts on an average.
Got it.
On an average.
Yeah, that
Okay.
suffice. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You can follow this CyberArk documents. We have docs.cyberark.com. There you can see the system requirements clearly. What about these concurrent sessions and RDS CAL licenses, how to configure on the PSM server, etc. Next question. What are the software prerequisites? What are the software prerequisites for installing PSM? What are the software prerequisites for installing PSM? What is the answer? What are software prerequisites? What is required for installing PSM? Any one of you?
.NET framework.
No, .NET is not required. .NET is for Vault CPM. For PWL it is IS roles. For PSM, what is required? Just now we are discussing. PSM will launch sessions. So in order to launch sessions, what is the main prerequisite? Without that, we can't install PSM. We have already, I mean, when we deploy the PSM in our lab, we started with some prerequisites. What are those? Any one of you? It's RDS roles, remote desktop services roles. I hope you remember we have run the prerequisite script on the PSM server. It installed remote desktop services roles, that is remote desktop session host, remote desktop connection broker, and remote desktop web access. These are the 3 roles that will get installed on the PSM. So RDS roles are required. RDS means remote desktop services. Remote desktop services means in order to launch sessions, we need to have these RDS roles. Okay. So remote desktop services are required, roles are required on the PSM server in order to deploy PSM. Next question. System requirements, software requirements. Not done. How will you configure? How will you configure RDS CAL licenses? How will you configure RDS CAL licenses? So how will you configure RDS CAL licenses means, so these CAL licenses will have a separate licensing server in the organization, in the projects. So this either the Wintel team, they will configure these RDS CAL licenses on our CyberArk PSM servers. So if you go to the local group policies on the PSM server, so particularly if we go to the remote desktop session host, there we have a licensing configuration, RDS CAL licensing. So there they will specify the RDS CAL licenses from the licensing server. It depends upon the licenses that they require, like 100 CAL licenses per server, per PSM server, etc. Next question or down. What are the log files of PSM? What are the log files of PSM? Any one of you? What are the log files of PSM? Yes, please. What is a log file?
PSM console and PSM trace.
Very good. PSM console log and PSM trace logs. PSM console and PSM trace logs. Next question. What are the services related to PSM? What are the services related to PSM? Any one of you? What is the name of the service related to PSM?
It's CyberArk privileged session manager.
Session manager. Yes. So it's CyberArk privileged session manager. Only one service will be up and running after installing the PSM. Note down. What is the default safe? What is the default safe where the recordings will be stored? What is the default safe where the recordings will be stored? What is the answer, any one of you? What is the default safe where the recordings will be stored? Any one of you? Okay. So yesterday we launched sessions, right? Yesterday we launched PSM sessions for the first time. And while launching the sessions, we have seen a banner message called, title message called, you are being recorded. Okay. So this we discussed. So initially recordings will be stored on the PSM server for some time, and it will be uploaded to the vault automatically into the safe. Which safe? Any one of you? What is that safe where the recordings will be stored? So let me log into vault and I'll show you my screen and you guys answer me. Which safe? Now look at my screen. I have logged into the vault via private app client and we can see all the safes here where the recordings will be stored.
PSM live sessions.
No, just a minute, just a minute. Interesting. Let me log off from the vault Sorry, the answer is not there here. Let me stop and start the word server.
That will be PSM Saros users group, right?
No. Groups are different, safes are different. I have stopped my vault. Let me start the vault again. Where is the safe? The
You were
answer
there
is
if you go
PSM
first.
recordings. Answer is PSM recordings safe. Okay. PSM live session notifications and managed sessions. Why the safe is not created? Yesterday we launched sessions via PSM. Let me check the PSM. Cyberark privilege session manager. It is running. Let me restart this service and launch the session one more time. Let me add administrator to PSM master group. There is a group called PSM master group. Let me add it here. Administrator Cyberark. Launch any PSM session. You are being recorded. Okay. Okay, the session got launched. Let me sign out from this session. The PSM session I am disconnecting. Sign out. Okay. So initially the recording will be stored on the PSM server. So we are on the PSM server. So in the PSM installation directory, see program files 86, CyberArk, PSM, recordings, errors. So the recording is not getting generated on the PSM server itself. First of all, there is an issue. The errors, it is nothing. Let us see the PSM logs. See here from the logs. Uploader failed because recording file .vda.ava does not exist. Failed to upload recording file. This is the file which we launched. Uploader failed because recording file does not exist. There is some issue here. So this .vda.ava file is not existing on the PSM server. So that's why the recording is not getting generated. Failed to finalize record. We need to repair this PSM server. We need to repair this PSM. Okay, so for now keep this aside. I'll try to repair this PSM server. We need to repair this PSM server. So from the control panel we need to go to PSM and we need to, it's like not reinstallation, it's a repair. Okay, so we will repair that PSM and we'll see whether the recordings are getting generated or not. .vda.ava file is missing, maybe during the PSM installation. This .ava file which supports the recording codec player. Okay, codec codec is the player that will be installed inbuilt with the PSM software. So maybe that is missing here. So we will repair that PSM later. But remember, recordings will be initially stored on the PSM server in this location. That is the PSM directory in the recordings. And after some time, it will be uploaded to the vault into the PSM recording safe. PS. What is this behavior? I have never seen this behavior. In the log, it is showing us failed to upload the recording. Failed to upload the recording. But now see here, previously we don't have these PSM recordings. Just now, 5 minutes back, we have seen there is no this safe. Let us open this safe. Open. Step into. Right. So these are all the recordings. 16 and 17. Yes. So yesterday we launched some sessions, right? So that also got recorded. So these are the vda.avi files. Later we will play these recordings. We'll see whether this player is functioning correctly or not. vda.avi file is, I mean, can we able to play this or not? Okay, but all the recordings are getting stored on our vault server in the default safe, that is PSM recordings. Okay guys, I no need to repair. We'll play the recording. We'll see whether we can able to view the recordings or not. Next question. What are the default safes? What are the default safes that will be created after PSM installation? What are the default safes that will be created after PSM installation? What is the answer? Any one of you? What are the default safes that will be created after PSM? On the screen, you can see PSM safe, PSM live sessions, PSM notifications, PSM recordings, PSM sessions, PSM universal connectors, and PSM unmanaged session accounts. These are the default safes that are related to PSM. Next question. What does PSM safe contains? What does PSM safe contains? Any one of you? What is the answer? What does PSM safe contains? Last time we discussed.
PSM
Yeah.
admin server.
PSM admin. It's not server. PSM admin. We call it as a user account. PSM admin account. And what else?
Server, PSM server.
Yeah. So PSM server. So PSM server, we call it as a PSM connect account, and PSM admin, we call it as a PSM admin account. Basically, these are the two accounts that will be created on the PSM server. Last time I showed you on the PSM server, if you go to local users and groups, we can see these two accounts, PSM Connect and PSM Admin Connect. So PSM Connect is responsible for launching the sessions, whereas PSM Admin Connect is responsible for auditors in order to view the live monitoring sessions. Okay, so this PSM safe contains the default accounts, that is PSM Connect and PSM Admin Connect. PSM Connect, we can also call it as PSM server account. Next question. What is the purpose of PSM Connect and PSM Admin Connect users? What is the purpose of PSM Connect and PSM Admin Connect users? Just now we discussed PSM Connect is responsible for launching the sessions, means whenever users want to try to connect to their servers from our Cyberark in the backend, this connect user is responsible. Whereas for admin connect, it is used by auditors in order to view the live monitoring. Next question. What are the default users and groups? What are the default users and groups that will be created after PSM installation? What are the default users and groups that will be created after PSM installation? So on my screen, see here. So default users are PSM app user, PSM gateway user. App user is responsible for internal processing of application. Means in order to launch PSM application backend, this app user is responsible. Gateway user, as the name itself indicates, gateway, it will fetch the credentials from the vault and it will establish connections to the end users. Okay. And the default groups that got created are PSM app users group, PSM live session terminators group, PSM master group. Yes, these are the groups related to PSM. Next question. What is the configuration file? What is the configuration file of PSM? What is the configuration file of PSM? Any one of you? For Vault, it is dbpam.ini. For PVWA, it is web.config. For CPM, it is cpm.ini. For PSM, what is the answer? What is the configuration file of PSM?
Basic PSM.
Basic underscore PSM. So on my screen, you can see here in the installation directory of PSM, we can see basic underscore PSM. Okay, so it contains the credential files, that is PSM app user, PSM gateway user, and PSM connect and admin connect server IDs. We call it as PSM connect and PSM admin connect, and PVWA configuration details, that is pv configuration.xml. Next question. Basic configuration file. Note down. How will you enable PSM? How will you enable PSM? So how will you enable PSM in the sense, we have installed PSM. Our PSM product is ready now. Okay, how will you enable it? So yesterday we have enabled this PSM from policies, master policies. In master policy, we have a section called session management. In session management, we have require privilege session monitoring and isolation. There is a policy called require privilege session monitoring and isolation. So yesterday I have activated that policy. So if you are not going to activate that policy, the PSM sessions will not get launched. Let me show you. So it's not like just only installation. We have to enable that policy in order to have PSM sessions from Cyberark.
मुख छोटा सारिका सारिका मुख छोटा सारिका
So in the policies, master policy, we have session management. So required privilege session monitoring and isolation. Yesterday this is in inactive mode. So we have edited this and we have made it to active. Okay. So this policy should be enabled, and record and save session activity also should be enabled so that the recordings will be saved. Okay. So this is how to enable a PSM. Next question, note down. Next topic that we discussed is Active Directory, right? How will you integrate AD with CyberArk? How will you integrate LDAP or AD, whatever we can call? How will you integrate LDAP with CyberArk? How will you integrate LDAP with CyberArk? So means we have to explain the process. How will you integrate means So from the PBWA, we have user provisioning tab. In the user provisioning, we have LDAP integration. Okay. So if we click on LDAP integration, there is a new domain. There we have to specify the domain details, bind account password, bind account details, and then we need to map the respective groups. That is admins group, auditors group, users group, and safe managers group. Next question. What is the purpose of bind account? What is the purpose of bind account? So bind account is a read-only account. It's not a domain admin account. It's a read-only account which is responsible for connecting Active Directory with Cyberark. Next question. What are the default ports? What are the default ports of LDAP? What are the default ports of LDAP? That is 389 and 636. 389 and 636. 389 is insecured connections, whereas 636 is secured connections. So if you want to integrate with 636, you need to have SSL certificates that needs to be placed on our digital vault server. Okay, you need to get the SSL certificates from the AD team, and you need to import those SSL certificates on our vault server. Remaining integration is same. Come to user provisioning tab, go to LDAP integration, specify your domain details, specify the bind account password. There you need to specify the port number as 636 if you are going to connect with secured connections. Next question. How will you do the directory mapping? How will you do the directory mapping? How will you do the directory mapping? So answer for this question is, how will you do the directory mapping? So initially, whenever we are integrating, the directory mappings are done. That is default groups, admins group, safe managers, auditors, and users. Okay. Let us say if you want to create a new directory mapping, then you need to log into the vault server. Go to tools. In the administrative tools, there is a directory mapping. Click on directory mapping. So here you can see the mappings that we already done during the LDAP integration. Admins, safe managers, auditors, users. Okay. So if you want to customize this, you can click on update and you can specify the directory branch where you want to import the users from your Active Directory. So this is how you need to customize. I mean, if at all, if there is a requirement in your organization, if you want to map any particular OU within their domain, so then we will update these directory mappings so that the users who are existing in that particular organizational unit within their domain will get imported into CyberArk. Remember this part. From the vault tools, administrative tools, directory mapping. Okay. So here we will map if there is any requirement. We are discussing about vault internal safe, right? So vault internal safe contains, note down, next question. What does vault internal safe contains? What does vault internal safe contains? So it contains AD configuration details, that is LDAP configuration.xml, and the bind account. So this is our bind account which we have created. So Vault internal safe contains LDAP configuration details. Yes, I think we have covered those questions. Right. So let's jump on to the lab. Log off. So this is our Linux server. Okay, just now we created the Linux server. So it's a simple, just we need to select our ISO file, RHEL ISO file, whatever the version that we are implementing, and the server will be ready. So now here, let me log into this server. Root is the default account. Okay. For Windows, it is administrator. Similarly, for Linux devices, root is the privileged account. Enter. Okay. I logged in as a root onto this Unix device. So first let me check the IP. If config. Command is if config. So the current IP here is 192.168.40.134. 192.168.40.134. So this will not ping to our vault. Okay. So we need to allocate an IP here. Let us allocate an IP first. We need to run some commands. Change the directory cd etc sys class net. I'm in net directory. So cd etc sysconfig slash network scripts. So now I'm in the network scripts directory. So ls list files. So we have a config file here called ifcfg-ens33. The first one is ifcfg-ens33. We need to edit this file and we need to specify the IP address whatever we want. Okay. So in order to edit this, vi is the command. Vi ifcfg-ens33. I'm editing that config file. Enter. Insert. So here boot proto is equal to, instead of dhcp, make it to static, and here we need to define our IP address. IP addr is equal to, let us say I'll call it as 10.0.0.7. Okay, let us say 10.0.0.7 is our Linux server host, and we need to define the net mask. Net mask is equal to, it is by default 255.0.0.0. 255.0.0.0. Right. So in this IFCFG-ENS335, we have defined the IP address as 10.0.0.7 and the net mask is 255.0.0.0. Now press escape, shift : small WQ exclamatory. So this is the command for saving the file. Okay, WQ exclamatory in the Linux. Okay, it was written. So now we need to restart the network. So for that we need to change the directory cd etc init.d /network restart. Enter. Okay, so the network got restarted. So now check the IP. So just now I have allocated IP. Right now I am in root directory. The command is ifconfig. Now see here 10.0.0.7. In this line 10.0.0.7 is the host IP address for Linux target device. So whatever we have done so far, creating this Linux server and allocating an IP is not our responsibility. Okay, in the organization, this is the customer server, Linux team member. They have to specify, they have to give us these details. Okay, the privileged account name is root and the target server address is 10.0.0.7. Whatever the commands that I have executed now, it's not required for us. Okay, right. So now let us onboard this account. Go to accounts tab. We have already created safes and we have already duplicated platform for this Linux. Okay, for onboarding, click on add account, store in safe, Unix_safe. Yesterday we created this safe. Okay, Unix_safe. Device type is, what is the device type? Operating system. Platform. Unix accounts. Okay, this is the platform which is duplicated from Unix via SSH platform. Unix via SSH is the default platform. Okay, so we are not going to touch the default platform. We will duplicate the platforms always. So I have named it as Unix accounts yesterday. Address, target server address. This we need to get from the respective team. 10.0.0.7 in our case. Root, privileged account name is root, username is root. Okay, root password. CyberArk 1. That's it. Okay. So we have to specify these details. Safe platform, privileged account name, and where that privileged account existing. I mean the target server or end user server address and the password of that privileged account. Save. Okay. So this account got onboarded. Now we are in account details space, account details. So again, you can see the platform name, device type, safe name, username, and address. Okay, let's try to connect this. Connect. Okay, so we logged in. We logged in with the root account from CyberArk PSM. Okay, so here the team will carry on whatever their work. The Linux team members, whatever they are working on, whatever the configurations on their Linux servers, whatever they are doing, we don't bother about it. So our duty as a CyberArk admins is to make sure that these accounts are successfully being connected from our PSM, and these accounts are successfully being rotated by our CPM based on the policies that we set. Okay, so I'm exiting. So now, yesterday we have two users. One is Nirnaya, and the other user, I think we created Anushri, I guess. So these two are the EPV users, and we assume these two users are from a Wintel team, and we have granted them access to the Wintel team group, and they can able to see their servers when they log into the CyberArk PVW. Now, can someone tell me if I log in with that users? Okay, will they able to see this account or not? The account which we onboarded just now. Can they able to see this account or not? Yes or no? Any one of you? So if I log in with the user Nirnaya or Anushri, can they able to see this Unix account or not?
Vishnu, I'll take a step on that. So if there is a separate account for the Unix group, then maybe not. But if there is one universal admin account for any onboarding, then yes.
How will we grant access to the users? How will we grant access to the users? Okay. So yesterday, how we have granted access to both of these people?
By adding them into groups.
Yes, by adding them into groups.
Yep.
Where the groups got mapped
I think
in CyberArk.
the group gets mapped into these safes. I think
Very
that's
good. Yes, the groups got mapped in the safe. So yesterday we have created a group called Wintel group in the Active Directory, and we have added as a members. So now they are part of Wintel team group. But that Wintel team group I have mapped in CyberArk safe in the Windows safe. So yesterday we went into the Windows safe members and I have added that Wintel team group. So that's why they got access to their servers from CyberArk. So now this Unix account, whatever I have onboarded now, it's an Unix safe. It is in this account is stored in Unix safe. Yesterday it's a Windows safe. So now I have not done any mapping. So even if this user logged in, this user can't able to see because I have not done any mapping. See here, they can only able to see their servers. Okay, so they can't able to see the Unix account because they are not from Unix team. Let us assume they are not from Unix team. Okay, they should not have permission. So now let us create one more user and I'll grant that user at safe level permission for the Unix. So let me create user called, I'll call it as Pramod. Set a password for this user. Password never expires. Okay, so I'll create one more group. Access will be provisioned via groups only, not at the individual users. New group, I'll call it as Linux team. Okay, so now I'll add this user to Linux team group. Okay, so now I will map this Linux team at that particular Linux safe. Okay, let me see how I am adding. I'm just restarting the web services, PWA web services. IS reset is the command. What happened to this? Okay. So we need to map that group. So go to saves. Under policies, we'll have a saves. In saves, go to that respective safe, Unix safe. Click on that safe. Members. Add members. So here, search from AD Linux. Search. Okay, so Linux team. Select. Next. What permissions are required? Access, use, list, use, and retrieve accounts. List accounts, use accounts, retrieve accounts. Okay, rest of the permissions not required. Click on add. So now member Linux team was successfully added to the safe Unix underscore safe. Okay, so now if we log in with that user Pramod, he can able to see his Linux servers. And app authentication, login as Pramod. Sign in. Authentication failure. Sign in. I'm giving the right password. Okay, but the user is not able to log in. Can someone tell me what might be the issue? Any one of you is not able to log into Cyberark with LDAP authentication. I'm giving the right password. Authentication failure for user Pramod. External user authentication failure ITAT code 345E. No matching directory map found for user Pramod. So ITA log, in the ITA log, this is the ITA log on the vault server. Okay. So we have an error. External user authentication failure. Reason, no matching directory map found for the user Pramod. Can someone tell me what is the answer? How we need to troubleshoot this? Why this user is not able to log in? Any guess?
Is it that we need to change the authentication method?
No.
No? Okay.
We are already logging in with LDAP authentication with that user.
Or maybe like we need to define the directory mapping.
Yes, we need to define the directory mapping. How?
Uh,
Where we need to map this user from? So answer is he should be a member of CyberArk users
The
group.
groups, right?
Okay, he should be a member of users group. Let me add, because that is the directory mapping we have done, right? So check names, CyberArk users group, click on OK, done. So now let's try, he will log in. Sorry. Okay, log in. So now he can able to see his accounts where he is having access to Linux accounts. So he will log in every day and he will connect from CyberArk and he will carry his work on the Linux machine, whatever he is responsible for. Let's connect once. So RDP file will be downloaded here. So if we click on that, the session will go from our CyberArk PSM. So see here 10.0.0.3. This is our PSM server. Okay, click on connect. So our PSM server will launch session to the end user machine. Means session is getting isolated. Instead of direct connection to the Linux server, the session is being launched from our CyberArk PSM. Done. He logged into the root and he will carry on his work on the Linux server, what he is responsible for. Okay, exit. Let us create one more privileged account on this machine. So I'm on Linux server. So user add, the command is user add. I'll call the privileged account name as Linux admin 1. Okay, user add Linux admin 1. Linux admin 1 is the privileged account now. Enter. The user got created on this server. So set a password. Pass wd is the command. Linux, sorry, Linux admin 1. Pass wd Linux admin 1. I am setting the password for this account now. Enter. Unknown username. Linux admin 1. Is it correct that I have typed it correctly? Yes. Try. Pass wd space Linux admin 1. Okay, changing password for user Linux admin 1. Set a password. Cyberark 1. Enter. Retype new password. Okay, try one more time. Cyberark 1. Enter. Okay, tokens updated successfully. So now this is the privileged account. Now he will reach out to us CyberArk team and he will ask us to onboard this account Linux admin 1. Let's go back and onboard the account. So if you get any errors, okay, you should be very good at troubleshooting. Don't give up, okay? We have everything in place. We have the log files. Just go and check that particular log. Something you will get, okay? There will be some codes. So with that code, you can also Google it. Okay, so quickly add account. I'm adding from new interface, NIX. Our platform is Unix accounts. Select save. Save is Unix save. Address is same server 10.0.0.7. Username is, this name should be same as it is, Linux admin 1. Password R1. Confirm password. Cyberark. Okay, click on add. So now if you scroll down, you can see the Linux admin 1 account. Okay, so now that user can also able to see, because we have onboarded in the same safe. From other user can also able to see this account. Right. So I'll stop it here for the day. Tomorrow we'll see the bulk accounts, how we do, how to onboard a bulk account, and we'll also discuss about CyberArk policies. Okay, very, very important about what is this policy responsible for, how we will configure CyberArk policies regarding the CPM, password verifications, etc. Okay, I'll stop it here for the day. We'll meet tomorrow. Thank you, guys.
Now, can I get the only one little bit question? I'm on the confusion there. On
Okay.
the installation, the installation wizard is a error log on ITA that the with 352S license has expired every time. I just reboot it.
You are getting license got expired error.
Yeah.
So we are using the trial version license. Okay, so what you need to do is on your vault server, just change the date, set back to the previous year. Let us say 23, any random date. On your vault server, change your machine date.
Okay.
Okay, change your machine date and start the vault server. You already installed the vault server.
Yeah.
Just change your vault server mission date, set it to some 2023, any date, whatever may be, and just start the vault server, private server service. It will be up and running.
Okay.
Okay, try that. If that doesn't work, I'll check tomorrow. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.